Wait, are live? I forgot to change the game capture. There. Wait. Let's clear out these notifications real fast. Alright, class, see you in a bit. Clear these out fast.
The fog worker has requested the Foundation's assistance. Due to a mysterious change in the smog, they've been experiencing extraordinary rates of tuberculosis. We need someone experienced in medicine to go to London and investigate.
Miss Tooth Fairy, I'm Brimley, the ranger colleague of Arthur Fogg. There's a lot more going on here than meets the eye. Miss! Watch your head!
Are you here for the Uluru Games? Here in Cross Street, we're all celebrating the upcoming Uluru qualifiers. I'm Flutterpage. I wake everyone up in the morning. The most amazing witch lives here too. These snails are for her to eat.
Is she French?
Why? You've seen her in France? I've never even seen her leave the house.
It's all because of her! That fog hag! She's the one who created the black fog! She's caused us!
To protect the health of all involved, the London Uluru qualifiers have been cancelled.
Why should I care? I'm no athlete. I've only got one leg. Just like I've nothing to do with the Uluru Games.
The qualifiers would have held the floor ritual.
She was a once-in-a-generation floor ritualist.
We'll just have to hold our own games.
Have you forgotten about the challenge? Charlotte O'Hagan?
Love awakened characters, so true.
I don't care what anyone thinks.
The only downside of awakened characters is they're always like a 3-star or 4-star. I'll probably roll for Willow later, like near the end. So it begins. First day back in London. Said Lucia. As long as they're more humanoid.
I'm ready to go.
Please fasten your seatbelt, miss. We're setting off now. You ever been to London, miss?
Yes, a long time ago.
Long, eh? 5 years? 10 years?
Longer than that.
Come on, Van. How long? You don't look 100 years old. The hospital is 2 streets away. Oh, by the way, it's been arranged for you to meet Mr. Fogg first, and then he'll show you around the hospital.
I don't see why we need to make a big deal out of a simple visit.
Couldn't agree more, miss. But as this is an official visit by Mr. Fogg, as a servant of the Crown, you can rightly expect that they're going to have the old place decked out like Christmas.
Thank you for taking me there directly. I will go to Mr. Fogg's office after my visit. You can leave without me. I think I'd like to take the underground.
The tube? You won't like it, miss. Not the kind of place for a decent young lady. I'll wait here for you, love. I'll do my best not to crack into my flask of whiskey while I wait.
Thank you. I'll be back soon.
Convenient. Convenient flyer placement for the explosion.
How are things at SPDM, Tooth Fairy? I'm hearing rave reviews about their school physician.
I'm glad to hear it. Young children are particularly easy to soothe. A few candies and they behave just fine. A little toffee or a nibble of a fruity sweet, and they've forgotten all about the Tooth Fairy's taste. A proper dose of sweets serves to calm the nervous system, and that doesn't just apply to kids.
Pulls out a piece of milk candy out of her pocket and softly places it beside Madame Z's mug of strong tea.
Your work here is undoubtedly busier than mine at SPDM. Besides, you're directly responsible for our timekeeper, the little troublemaker. But I am sure you didn't summon me here all for a little chit-chat.
Madame Z unwraps the candy and places it in her mouth, allowing it to slowly dissolve. Then she places a stack of papers on the table before Tooth Fairy.
The Foundation has now confirmed the correlation between social turmoil and the emergence of the storm. Our branches around the world are now making efforts to collect information on these key social movements. As you may know, there was a strike that has only just ended in London. And there is something I'd like to show you, besides the strike itself.
Fairy rapidly flips the papers. She quickly spots the crucial element.
Tuberculosis.
Indeed, there appears to be abnormalities concerning air pollution and reported cases of TB. Compared to our records before the storm, TB morbidity rates are extraordinarily high, approaching levels that shouldn't be seen until the Great Smog of 1952. Our Mr. Fogg, the Fog Walker, has also reported that there is something unusual about the composition of the fog.
So, we need an insider with knowledge of the storm to visit London, ideally one with a medical background. I see.
I know, your winter vacation just started, but I'm sure you understand the dire situation we find ourselves in. I'll apply for a special allowance for this field mission. What do you say?
I'd be happy to go. Perhaps I'll collect some rare teeth from this era.
Good luck then. Mr. Fogg will contact you when you arrive. He is our liaison between the Foundation and the British government. He'll take you to the hospital, handling many of these respiratory patients. You will be given full trust to resolve this problem. There is something else. The Uluru Qualifier will soon be held in London. It may factor into your investigation.
Uluru Qualifier? Uluru London Qualifier coming soon. Arcanist Fair in Cross Street. Support your favorite competitors. Winners will represent Great Britain in the Australian finals.
Australia? They shipped my uncle off to Australia back in the day. I always figured he got done in by a kangaroo. But if the smoky gets any worse, I think I might chance it. Maybe I'll find him in the outback there. Or at least avenge him.
With a tense frown, Larry holds the flyer. Uluru Games are not her current focus.
That smoke seems to have severely damaged that hospital. But you don't seem concerned.
We've seen worse, miss. You wouldn't believe how many houses we lose a year to gas line explosions. Nothing much can shock us Londoners. It's a city where you can meet arcanists from all over the world. Arabians, North Africans, Indians and Japanese. Who knows what kind of arcane skill they can cast.
The police are on the scene now, but can they really do anything to clean up the hospital?
Well, police have got their own way of dealing with things. None too friendly. I think you should bring this up to Mr. Fogg. He's one of the few folks that look out for the working man, and he's never afraid of calling out the upper class.
I suspect Mr. Fogg will have known before we did. Let's follow the path of this dark soot on the street. Maybe we can find it, or its owner.
As you like, miss.
The car makes its way eastward, weaving through the increasingly narrow streets.
Seems it's leading us to the East End. Only thing that comes out of the East End are drunks, tramps, and Jack the Ripper.
The brakes screech as the car comes to an abrupt halt. The car shudders from some impact as a child's screams fills the air.
Bloody!
Sudden, stabbing pain strikes the nerve into the fairy's temple. She almost stumbles as she rushes to the exit of the car. Driver pokes his head through the car window, scrambling to justify his mistake.
Miss, I swear to high heaven that I have not had a drop of drink today. This is the East End for you. Either you hit someone, or someone hits you. Please, miss, take a look for me. Tell me if I hit anything. I can take it.
It appears
Right over again.
there's no one in front of the car.
No one?
I'm up here!
Hmm?
Look up there, miss!
Tooth Fairy looks out to see a flurry of pages fluttering and spinning through the sky, like a vibrant bundle of fabric resembling some kind of burlap sack hurtles through the center.
Can you catch me?
Huh?
Little girl's skirt catches wind. She drifts weightlessly through the air. Colorful scraps of paper spiral through the air and swirl around her. All Uluru flyers waiting to be distributed.
She's being lifted up on the wind. Is this her arcane skill? If so, she's amazing for her age.
She gently descends, seemingly headed straight into the fairy's arms.
You lose. You weren't going to qualify for nothing like that.
Are you hurt at all?
Not get to read the last
Why
of that.
would I be?
Whatever.
It's not even as high up as a canary nest. It's no sweat with the help of little wind. But the Sutakiki was hurt. The car hit his waist.
Is this Sutakiki your friend?
Yes, but he ran away. He's probably angry. I bet he's still around. He don't forgive easy.
She points toward the shadowy alley to her left. Right in a dark, smoggy corner, a pair of glowing eyes peek out from behind the garbage bin.
See? Over there. That's the Sutakiki, and I'm Flutterpage.
Could you bring your friend out? I'd like to make amends if I hurt him. especially if he can't work.
Oh, he doesn't work, but you still need to apologize.
Letter page turns toward the alley, waving in the shadows to call over her friend.
Come on out, Sutakiki. This bloke here wants to apologize to you.
Sutakiki stirs in the shadows, disturbing the pale yellow smog before suddenly leaping forward.
That thing doesn't even have a waist. And he's as big as a kangaroo.
His waist is right there. Can't you see?
A frightened critter is dangerous. Please stay back, child.
Now, and simply not play the game.
Let us have a fair fight.
And this probably will not take long.
Sir, I suggest you cover your mouth and nose. There's something off about this smog.
Christ, so the rumours are true. I never should have gone into an alley like this on such a smoggy day.
He's looking at the end of the alley. He must want to go that way.
The smog's not as thick there. I think he wants to escape. Maybe the smog's harmful to him too.
Assist? Oh, please. I know how to use it. Would you care to lie
And
down?
just ignore the mechanics. Easy video game.
Reading complete. Was I helpful, timekeeper?
Bollocks! Turn over already, you stupid car!
The engine roars to life again, its pistons drumming the retreat as the car careens the streets.
Why did Mr. Driver run away like the Sutakiki?
He was worried for his car. If it got damaged, it could cost him his job.
Lose his job? Oh, got it. I don't want to lose my job
LA
neither.
simulator. In LA, London, basically the same thing. Little girl gives an empathetic nod, and a child her age has no place in anything to do with the word work.
He has a car, so I wager he makes more than 6 pence a week. How did he get that job? Can I do it too?
I suppose you could, once you grow up. Here, open your mouth.
Tooth Fairy produces a shimmering jar of ointment made from ground golden fairy in linen. Concoction capable of soothing one's fear of swallowing a tooth fairy for the first time.
What's this?
You were hurt. It's a kind of ointment. It will numb the pain if you ingest it, or reduce the inflammation if you rub it on your wound.
Was I hurt? I feel a little pain. But what do you mean by inflammation? Does that mean I'll catch on fire?
Take it, and you will feel much better. Doctor's orders, kid.
Little girl's curiosity eagerly trumps her hesitation towards the unfamiliar. Stretches her neck and sucks Tooth Fairy's ointment-covered finger.
Huh?
It's a bit sour, like a moldy raspberry, but still sweet. Why aren't other pills as sweet as yours? I see. So you're a witch doctor, aren't you? I can tell from your metal mask, teeth necklace, and the golden fairies in your jar.
That is a reasonable assumption.
So you're here for the Uluru Fair then? Must be. You even got the flyer with you.
Actually, I'm here as a doctor to investigate a tuberculosis outbreak. But the strange black fog damaged the hospital I was heading to. I followed the trace it left behind to this area.
Black fog? There ain't no black fog. Around here the smog is yellow, and sometimes I've seen black smoke puffing up from the factory chimneys. But never in Cross Street. As like to be an arcane skill, miss. Lots of us arcanists here. That's why we're all chuffed up for the Uluru qualifiers. There's herbalists, psychics, diviners, magicians.
Thank you, Flutter Page. I think I've got the idea.
Left to her own devices, Letter Page could recite the job of every arcanist on the entire street.
Great! Then I'll show you around. You'll like it here.
Letter Page grabs Tooth Fairy's hand and drags her to the heart of Cross Street. Yeah, I'll do all that stuff later, because I imagine it's going to be a lot more reading. Swallows in the chimney. Reach out your hand into this long, dark pipe.
Welcome to Cross Street!
Makeshift stalls line the street as arcanists celebrate the approaching Uluru qualifiers. This event will decide who gets to represent Great Britain in the finals of Australia. Glitterplate lets out the last Uluru flyers slip from her fingers. They scatter as they soar on the wind and drift into half-open windows.
Stop littering, you grimy little bug.
This is the Uluru Fair!
Tooth Fairy inspects the street, studying the allies on either side, finds nothing.
The trace of the black fog seems to have disappeared into a large gathering of arcanists. A wise choice. A choice, I'm already assuming, that has a certain level of intelligence.
Ultimately, she is only a doctor. Comes to things outside of illness, she often finds herself lost.
He sounds like a monster. Like from tall tales where adults make up to scare us. But I heard people talking when I was sitting on the roof. They say it was born from a smokestack.
It does appear to have a similar composition to soot.
That's no good for the birds, Miss Doctor. I sure hope it don't come here. I don't want it to muck up the Uluru Fair, or scare the canaries away from the chimneys.
What's so special about the canaries?
They always know where the lanolin snails are hiding. All I'll do is give them a bit of old bread or seeds, and they find me the snails. It's my snail catching day. Stay right there, miss. I'll be back soon as I finish. Don't go getting off your sauce while I'm gone.
With that, Flutterplate drifts into a stall decorated with Union Jack bunting before disappearing like a whisper on the wind. A gentleman in grey woolen coat stands tall nearby, utterly encourages the rest of the street.
This is an Arcanist Fair Booth application form. You need only fill this, and get proper approval from the city government. Then no one can bother you.
Approval, eh? What's the point? The games will be over by the time they've even looked at my application.
Are we entirely certain we even want to hold the fair in these conditions? Don't you think the weather now isn't appropriate for that kind of strenuous physical activity?
What else can we do? We need to earn our bread, or perhaps you could clean the air for us, eh, Mr. Fogwalker?
I'm doing all that I can.
Which means you can't do nothing at all, don't it? Yeah, we're coughing. But what we make in a day at the fair here is more than an entire week anywhere else. Not like we have royal allowances to rely on, unlike you. Enough of it already. Now, would you mind moving aside for the little lady behind you? She's been waiting a while.
Oh, I do apologize, miss. Miss Tooth Fairy.
I didn't expect to run into you here, Mr. Fogg.
The pleasure is all mine, miss. Oh, where my manners. Welcome to London.
Cross street locals hurry by, letting out a sharp, violent cough.
Of course, we were supposed to meet in the office of the London Atmospheric Cleanup Committee. I'd have prepared a fine Indian tea for you.
But this time, I think it's like 1910-ish. I remember it saying in like the trailers, one of the trailers or something, but I don't quite remember. I think it's like
But
1910.
I was called away to deal with matters here on Cross Street. It's a happy coincidence that you popped by. It will save us both some time.
Mr. Fogg awkwardly fiddles with his gloves, clearly feeling embarrassed at the indecency of their meeting. Thankfully for him, Tooth Fairy seems more concerned about the issue at hand.
Something the matter? You mean the air pollution?
Not precisely, no. Though one could say the problem is related. In fact, it seems just about every one of our problems comes down to these sticky contradictions. For example, contrary to good wisdom, the people of Cross Street have opted to continue their fare, despite the obvious dangers of the fog. That's just unreasonable.
You're the unreasonable one here, mate. Stop the Uluru Fair on account of a bit of fog. Fog in London. Should we cancel if there's water in the Thames next?
Citizens should be made aware of the harm caused by fog, and reduce unnecessary outdoor activities.
Pardon me? You lot government officials?
A few busybodies gather near the two of them, ready to catch the latest gossip.
You saying we aren't allowed to celebrate the Uluru qualifiers? So what are you expecting us to do? Just watch the games and then pop off home? It's not like there are many events left for us arcanists to celebrate in our own country.
Sir, you seem to have quite a severe cough.
Oh, it's not so bad. Just a little curse is all. Doesn't matter none. A good arcanist healer can cure me.
Just a little
That's
bit of
exactly what I've
cursing.
been talking about. A curse? Good lord, man. You have a disease called tuberculosis. You need a proper doctor, not a healer.
Maybe this is just how citizens in Cross Street best comprehend the disease, in the arcanist way. It's not a matter of arcanists or humans. Tuberculosis is caused by the presence of bacterium in the air. It can't be cured through ritualistic purification or exorcism.
You just don't get it, do you? It's not like that. If this tuber what have you is the reason, then why does my chest burn like hell? I've never heard of no bacteria what could do that.
You feel like your chest is burning?
Like swallowing a flaming coal it is. It all started this month. Never felt anything like this before.
Like I said, there's no disease. This has to be the Fog Hag's curse. She's the one who summoned this damnable black fog. She used to be a toad before she was thrown into an alchemist's cauldron and came out as a twisted old hag that haunts our street.
Could you tell me more about the black fog?
The vendor remains silent, shooting a hostile glance down Cross Street.
Shh! Don't say anything about it. It'll bring bad luck.
Coughs, waving his hands to scatter the attention of the crowd, and vanishes into the yellow
So
smoke.
now we have a fog hag? What's to come next, I wonder?
He raises his hand in resignation, knowing that as a gentleman, he should speak no further on the matter.
Sometimes, despite being an arcanist myself, it's hard to understand my own people. But that's what they think around here. My colleague is presently out investigating this curse they mention. But, to say nothing of his intrepid skills as a ranger, I doubt he'll produce any evidence of this so-called hag. In fact, he...
A long, sharp whistle cuts through the air, like that of a rider galloping across the plains of a land down under. What follows is not the sound of hooves.
Arthur, a little help, mate. We've got trouble.
A hat riding a hobby horse races forward, its coat fluttering in the thick smog like a salary cavalryman returning from a reconnaissance mission. A dark cloud follows close behind him.
So, here it is.
What's that after you now, old hat?
It's the Black Fog. Seems I've startled it, and now it's sent our critters into the streets. Steady on. Let's charge like soldiers of the Great Emu War.
It's the hag. The hag's curse is coming for us. Those nasty critters are coming from her garden. Run!
Time to ignore the program
activated. A single kiss? Oh, please. I know how to use it. Would you care to lie down?
Time to turn the page.
Easy
Come back.
video game.
I need your feedback on our session.
May I say it was an honor to serve as your bodyguard, miss. I'm Brimley, the ranger colleague of my mate here, Arthur Fogg.
I wasn't hurt. Thanks to you.
Mr. Fogg lightly brushes the soot from his coat before walking to Tooth Fairy. Despite clearing away most of the black fog, his expression looks grim.
Thank you, Miss Tooth Fairy, for telling us what happened at the hospital. We ought to make a summary of our investigation so far.
Seasoned government employees are particularly good at providing summaries.
We've encountered 3 oddities thus far today. This mysterious black fog, the unusual burning chest symptom, and...
Carefully considers his words before bringing up the difficult third point.
this so-called fog hag living on Cross Street.
Well done, mate. You did it. You said it out loud. We may just break the ice of your soul yet.
I'm only doing my due diligence by quoting the title verbatim. Back to the topic. Combining these clues together, we should assume a causal connection. The hag releases black fog, giving Londoners this variant of TB with the burning chest symptom.
When did you move into 221B Baker Street, mate?
Fogwalker shifts his gaze, knowing that even if he were to inhale a mouthful of black fog, his face couldn't look any grimmer.
It's a reasonable speculation. If so, then the first thing is to determine if such a lady lives here on Cross Street. We'd better pay her a visit.
If you insist, Dal, I can already confirm that for you. She's here, all right. Down at the house of the mangy front garden at the south end.
Very well. But might I suggest we don't all go in a rush to pay her a visit? We know nothing about her, or even whether this hag is a danger.
The little figure squeezes its way in.
Oi, Miss Witch Doctor, you done talking to Mr. Fogg and Mr. Hat?
Flutterpage, where have you been?
Wasn't you listening? I was off catching snails. With a bit of help from the canaries.
Flutterpage lifts an old glass jar filled with snails.
Good on you, little tacker. That's quite the harvest.
She tucks the jar away in the folds of her clothing, then lightly grabs the hem of Tooth Fairy's coat.
Shall we then, Miss Witch Doctor?
Where are you taking me?
Thought I'd show you around Cross Street. Figuring since I'm the best guide here.
Are you? Then, do you happen to know about the house at the south end of the street?
Glitterpage ponders for a moment before her eyes widen in realization.
Sure do. Actually, these snails are for her. You can tag along with me to see her if you like.
Fog hag, a recluse, shrouded in rumors. Smog in the garden feels unusually dense, taking on an almost milky, gelatinous quality. Damp, fishy air sticks to the visitors. Sparse, ivy winds around the ancient stone wall. Spare roots clinging desperately to it.
This right here, miss, is the Fog Lady's house. As you can tell, it is a very big, big house. Not like mine. Mine is small, but very high up.
Steep, tilted roofs, sash windows. It's very Victorian.
Oh no. Her name ain't Victoria, miss. At least, I don't think so.
No. I mean, Victorian architecture is a kind of style of house. I'm saying this house must have a long history.
Oh. Too right about that, miss. It's been here for ages. Come along then, I'll take you in.
Glitterpage doesn't knock, nor does she touch anything resembling a doorbell. She simply leads Tooth Fairy straight to the garden gate. Several carbuncles peek out from among the vines before quickly retreating, their eyes still locked on the visitors.
Are these her critters?
You lot are hungry today, ain't you?
From the folds of her oversized frock, Glitterpage pulls out a jar filled with snails.
They ain't for you. They're for the lady of the house. Now please let me and Miss Witch Doctor through.
Carbuncles refuses their entry, adding a few tendrils to form a blockade.
Sorry, Miss Witch Doctor. They was much friendlier before.
You've been here before?
Yep. They always let me in straight away. No clue what set them off this time.
Glitterpage stands on her tiptoes, planning to hop over the barrier. After a quick glance at Tooth Fairy, she abandons the idea.
I don't rightly know what to do. I try calling her, but it won't do much good. Even if she heard me, she won't come out.
You're saying she never leaves her house?
Not that I ever seen.
Do other people visit her?
No.
But you visit her often?
She likes when I bring her snails. You think she eats them? All I know is I gave her snails, and then she asked me to stay around her house for a while. When she's not in a sour mood, she even teaches me some words for arcane skills. But if she is sour, then all she does is hand me some books, and I can't even read most of them. Don't go asking her too many whys. If you do, she says, "Get out!" And you got to go. So far, the longest I stayed was a whole afternoon.
I see.
The fairy surveys the old mansion. Her, it looks like a small castle than a house. Decides not to disturb the formidable witch dwelling within it.
Maybe I'm the reason they aren't letting you in. I'll just stay back here.
All right then. Stay there and I'll tell her about you, miss.
Carbuncles lower their guard as Tooth Fairy retreats. Strange plants and critters in the garden clear the way for Flutterpage as she makes her way down the path. Flutterpage raises the snail jar high above her head, as if presenting some kind of token.
Miss? Do you hear me? Wakey, wakey!
The lock clatters heavily. The hinges on the old oak door give a mournful groan.
Here you go, miss. A fresh batch of snails.
He doesn't respond. And the witch's stare is fixed on the unfamiliar woman by the garden entrance.
Who is this?
Well, I don't know her name, but she's a witch doctor. She came here in a car with a flyer of the Uluru qualifiers, so I think she's here for the Oh, I forgot that you don't like the word.
Hello, miss. I'm here investigating the source of the black fog. You can call me Tooth Fairy.
Go away.
But why? I ain't asked too many whys, Vis, did I? That was only my first one today. Oh.
She realizes something.
So I can't come in at all? You promised you'd help me practice my arcane skill.
Then you better not let me catch you saying Uluru ever again.
The witch anxiously snatches the snail jar from the girl's hand and closes the door. Door closes.
Aww. Oh! She left me a book. Look, it's got a carbuncle on it.
Come here, Flutterpage. Are you all right?
I thought I could play at her house today.
Would you like to do something else?
Like what?
Like, see your new friend, Mr. Hat?
Mr. Hat?
Miss Flutterpage, I'll ask you to not wear me on your head. I know I can fly, but that doesn't mean you can treat me like a kite. Besides, I'm due to begin my patrol. I need to...
A gust of wind blows Brimley into the hallway, bringing Flutterpage to give chase.
That gives us some time for business. First of all, allow me to express my respect for your adventurous spirit. A haunted hag mansion whose owner feeds on snails. To visit her so quickly on your own initiative was a bold move, Miss Tooth Fairy.
He now has no choice to admit the existence of the witch.
Here's your tea. No sugar, just as you asked.
And of course, he's kept the promised Indian tea at the forefront of his mind.
The connection between this lady and the black fog will require further confirmation. However, judging from our encounter, she doesn't seem to have much concern for the world outside her home. I also noted that the word Uluru seemed to irritate her.
Uluru? As in the Uluru Games? Not a fan, I take it. It's certainly odd for an arcanist to have a negative impression of the games, though not unprecedented. Which reminds me of this letter. I suspect our fog lady might be glad to hear it.
Mr. Fogg places a voice letter between the two of them. Paper swiftly transforms into a wide mouth.
Letter from the St. Pavlov Foundation Uluru Games Organising Committee to the Uluru London Qualifiers Organising Committee. Copied to the Office of the London Atmospheric Cleanup Committee. Due to the rapid deterioration of air quality in London and the presence of an unidentified arcane-related tuberculosis outbreak, we regretfully have decided that the Uluru London qualifiers will be cancelled until further notice to protect the health of competitors and spectators. Competitors still wishing to participate are encouraged to register for the qualifiers in Paris or other cities.
Paper folds itself up and drops back on the table. Mr. Fogg sighs.
I received this shortly after submitting my report concerning the events on Cross Street.
They're right. It's better for everyone's health.
No objections here. But it's certain to cause a stir. Miss Tooth Fairy, you saw how passionate the citizens were about this event. What it means to them. They'll eat us alive when we announce this. So much more so that it's cancelled because of air quality. The firm will not be pleased, I can assure you. This great city will be the laughingstock of Europe, if not the entire world. Unless there's a way to clean the air in London. Perhaps then I might convince the Foundation to reconsider.
Mr. Fogg, there's only 3 weeks left before the qualifiers. It's a serious effort just to address the smog over London, let alone this new black fog and the disease that has come with it.
3 weeks. 1 for making plans, 1 for enacting said plans, and still 1 more for the final procedures.
He slumps into his chair with his arms crossed and glares furiously at the voice letter on the desk.
What are you doing now, Mr. Fogg?
Thinking, Miss Tooth Fairy, is how I make the plans.
Grimly, fleeing pursuit eventually finds his way back.
Forgive me for interrupting, Arthur, but I had to call off my patrol earlier than expected. I'm afraid I need a favor of you, Miss Tooth Fairy. Would you mind helping us with some of the sick? After that black fog rolled through, patients with this tuberculosis variant seem to be multiplying as fast as hares in the Great Artesian Basin.
Past glory. What has been engraved in your mind, seared into your sight, and etched onto your very being.
Through misty woods, on paths concealed by haze, he thrice died and thrice was born in ancient days. Guide me rightly, that I may not stray.
By the willow fire, a witch is dancing in the ritual ground. She performs her dance alone. Luminous shadows cast by flames accompany her.
Flowers bear fruit, and beasts give offspring's way. With eyes of fire pierce through the cloudy maze. Failed again. Damn it.
She clenches her right leg, her fingers turning white at the tips.
I won't get anywhere so long as I can't move right.
The typical docile carbuncles are now locked in a frenzied shrieking match. What would have been a calming ritual has quickly turned to a bloodied war drum, all because of a single misstep.
Enough! The last thing this haunted old place needs is another crazy creature!
Oh, ignore game mechanics again.
Program activated.
I have mostly
Or charging.
keep up the pace. Would you care to lie down?
I can't make it.
Aim and shoot.
Easy
And now
video
to return
game.
to my long-term mission.
Miss Willow!
I swear to God.
He collapses by the willow fire, causing the intense flames to suddenly die down. He swiftly grabs the blanket from the pile to cover her legs.
Whatever thing you are, don't think I won't strangle you to death with my bare hands.
She struggles to her feet, but just as she's about to stand, one leg gives away. The girl tumbles through the window and into the room.
Bloody.
Tries to lift herself up for the second time, can only support half of her body. Find this little face among a pile of stitched and re-stitched clothes. Be no more embarrassing or infuriating way to behold her.
You. What are you doing here?
I only wanted to show you the arcane skill you taught me.
Flutterpage nimbly gets back on her feet, bouncing around as she shakes off the dust. Seeing that the girl is unharmed, the witch turns her face, hiding her fleeting look of concern.
But you are in a bad mood, aren't you? What happened? I promised I didn't call you Miss Willow in front of others. You said I can call you Miss Willow when there's just you and me, right?
And you actually listened? First time for everything, eh? But it's not about what you call me.
Then what is it?
She stares at Willow in confusion. Suddenly, she realizes why she's laying on the ground.
Let me help you up.
I don't need it.
With a flick of her wrist, Willow's coat and hat leap onto her like loyal dogs. Tries to stand up for a third time, using the rough stone pillar beside her for support, and finally managed to straighten herself out.
So then if you value my words so highly, what about the time I told you I don't need a knocker-upper?
I remember. You told me there's no sense waking me up for anything. I don't have any work to go to. But I'm not here to wake you up, am I? I already did that for the whole street hours ago.
Oh, have you now? Then maybe you can buzz off and bother someone else. I didn't give my permission to let annoying little flies in my house. I'm in the middle of something important, so leave me be.
Willow grabs a broom handle and points it towards the window Flutterpage opened.
Just one more question, miss. I'll be quick. Miss Tooth Fairy and Mr. Fog say you made people sick with the black fog, but I know you didn't do it. Did you? You never told me you can summon black fog.
Done with all that nonsense, are you? If that's all you knocked on my window for.
But if you didn't, I can tell them the truth. Or you could even help them find the black fog. You're the best witch I know.
Their problem is no concern of mine.
Oh. But I did hear something. I was thinking maybe you'd like to hear it too. Letter from St. Pavlov Foundation. Due to what? Deuterion air quality and arcane tubal keeled kiss? They said the Uluru qualifiers are cancelled.
Stop. Do you understand at all what you're saying?
No, but...
Go away.
Aww.
I said get out!
She seizes Flutterpage with both hands, half dragging, half pulling her towards the open window.
You know what I don't want to hear, lass? Your voice.
Flutterpage is flung out the window and carried away like a kite with a broken string on the breeze.
And your infernal knocking. Don't you never take another step into my house. Never.
The room reverts to its familiar silence. No life save for its solitary resident, just as it has been for the past decade. The child, hastily thrown on coat and hat, slides to the floor as Willow leans on her right leg and limps over to the storage table filled with bottles and jars. It's enough mucus left over from yesterday's snails for her to use. She pours the liquid from the jar into the cauldron.
Just a wee bit left.
She sets the fire alight, and the lubricant starts to bubble in the cauldron.
Eat snails? Let them think what they will. I don't care. The fog hag. A toad monster. A failed work of an ancient alchemist. Yes, of course, Charlotte O'Hagan. You're nothing but an ugly, evil, terrifying fog hag living in a haunted house. You deserve every bit of it.
She lifts up her eyes and gazes out the window. To her surprise, she can see the moon. A flurry of small clouds slowly making their way across it. The flock of silhouetted birds whooping and serving in tacit harmony. Like the white sheep that roam those vast rocky hills. Like the witches in black robes dance together in perfect unison.
What an age. At last, witches no longer need worry about being captured in their sleep, pierced on a stake, or burnt alive.
Our next competitor is our witch from Ireland, a once-in-a-generation talent.
The ancient rituals are different now. We dance, communicating with spirits like a joyful game.
The Uluru Games!
Or a graceful competition.
And the winner for the floor ritual is...
A desirable... I left the pot on.
Mel signals a point of no return for the lubricant, and its appearance confirms it as she sees a small, blackened mass stuck to the bottom of the cauldron. Willow's prosthetic leg grinds and creaks as she joints up. The joints rub against each other, causing her hip to itch.
Back and back. Fit for the rubbish now. Rubbish.
Little knocker-upper. The winds blowing through this place has seen everything. Morning breaks, the rooster crows, announcing the start of another day of hard labor for the people of the East End. This land of industry, shipyards and factories, there's a dire need of coal, fuel, and the labor to sustain them. I cannot speak.
Good morning, sir, madam. This here's your wake-up call. Rise and shine, wakey time.
Flutterpage looks up to the gray sky above. There's only a touch of blue. No sun, stars, or moon to be seen.
Enough! I said enough with it, gal. I'm already awake, ain't I? So stop buzzing around.
Seasoned Knockeruptor deftly dodges the basin full of washing water. It's been flung out the window and slips through the alley onto the next street. Still has a job to do.
Wakey, wakey! Morning's here! Mrs. Wilson, you awake? You can't be late again, or old Mr. Pig Eyes will be on you with his belt.
Assault?
What happened? Didn't she hear me?
Suddenly, he's shoved from behind.
Oi, who did that? Shut up already, Liberty. Didn't you know Mrs. Wilson was sick? She's sick? What's wrong? Doesn't hurt like swallowing a burning coal, does it?
Who told you that? Yeah, maybe. Plenty of folks have been getting that too. My dad says it's a curse.
It's not a curse, dummy.
I'm no dummy, Liberty. You are, believing anything what that hag told you. She's a dirty, ugly old liar. And she's the one who cursed everyone here. She's a toad what can't get out of her house to see sunlight, and decided to curse us all just 'cause she didn't like the fair.
Have you gone off your rocker, Freddy? Just leave me alone. I got work to do.
That's work, eh? You call knocking on people's window work?
The boy rolls up his sleeve and pats his bicep.
I climb up in the steam turbines to tighten up the screws, and I clean them chimneys from the inside. Think you can do that, eh?
But I don't want to tighten screws or climb up chimneys. I don't like the smells.
Oh, so you like the smell of this black fog, do you? All thanks to your wicked hag friend.
Go away.
She whips a clothesline pull at the boy's knees with a sharp crack.
Ugh.
The boy leaps towards the girl, but loses her among the heap of rags.
Huh?
He swivels his head around and stands there shocked as Flutterpage deftly leaps over him.
What the?
The fog lady taught me this.
Lady? You mean that hag? I should have guessed. You'd be that ugly toad witch's apprentice.
You're not my friend anymore.
He runs off deeper in the cross street. Old mansion looks just as it always does. Strange gardens, the ominous building, half lost in the haze of smog. Even so, Flutterpage is hit by an unusual feeling, one she can't quite place.
It's not snail delivery day, but after she threw me out of the house last time, maybe I'll go apologize. Maybe then I can learn some more tricks from her, or at least read her book.
The creature eyes her warily.
Hello, hello. Now why didn't you let Miss Tooth Fairy in last time? She's not a bad person. She even gave me some flying medicine. It was sweet and sour. You think Miss Willow's lonely? She needs new friends, and maybe some flying medicine too.
Carbuncle seemed to reject her assessment, leaping side to side in a clear display of defiance.
But this time, I won't go through the window. Not that I get why she was so mad. Was it that I stopped her from eating breakfast, maybe? Well, time to figure it out. I bet if I walk in from the front door, she won't be so angry.
The page enters the garden like she always does. But this time, carbuncles don't make way for her. They leap at her.
What's wrong?
Flutterpage swings the clothesline pole, but fails to drive them off. They close in on her, malice in their eyes. Fortunately, reinforcements galloping through the smog.
Miss Flutterpage? What in the blazes are you doing here? Good Lord, I hope you didn't get hurt.
Mr. Hat!
Miss Bartley, I'd advise you to please stay a safe distance back.
No. Just look at the state of this garden. Oh, Charlotte, what have you been through to fall this far?
Let us have a fair fight.
And ignore the game mechanics again.
A similar charging. Hold on. Psychiatrist at work.
To read.
Target confirmed.
Easy video game.
Keep going. For our dream, comrade.
Thank goodness, you're in one piece.
I don't get it. They ain't never bit me before.
Well, you must always stay alert when you encounter critters, even in a familiar place. That's some genuine ranger's advice.
A ranger? Are you really a ranger? Can you be a ranger without a real horse? Will I get a hat like you if I get to be a ranger?
Fortunately, a hat's frame.
Hi, miss. Are you here for the lady living here?
Fortunately, hat's range of expressions doesn't include awkwardness, or much else for that matter. Flutterpage circles the unfamiliar lady, looking her up and down.
Miss, you look a lot like Miss Willow.
Miss Willow, you said?
Flutterpage claps her mouth, before realizing she wasn't the one to utter this name.
Yes, Miss Willow. Did she say you were allowed to call her that too, miss?
Allowed?
Even her sigh carries an elegant, melodious quality.
What kind of nutter has she become? Thank you for taking me here, Mr. Brimley. I can handle the rest myself.
She makes a gentle motion with her hand, knowing that she has finished talking.
You're welcome. Let's go, shall we, hey, little tacker? It's not safe to leave you here. I'll escort you to the hospital. Miss Tooth Fairy needs your help.
All right.
Flutterpage holds onto Brimley's coat as the two of them leave the garden. He looks back a few times. Caroline remains totally unmoved. Though she can converse with the owner of her house to stay alone.
I thought a hospital was a big, big building. This is more like a fair. Only with sick people.
Patients lie on basic steel frame beds. Their once pristine white sheets now marked with yellow and gray stains. Face of such a scene, the bright flags of Ulugrim now look like lifeless and limp.
Well, you're right there, mate. It's not your typical hospital. Arthur's calling it the London Emergency Relief Centre for Special Tuberculosis Patients.
But it's still kind of a hospital, ain't it?
He doesn't linger on this thought for long. The image of the unfamiliar lady in Willow's garden won't leave her mind.
Who's that swan lady? She's not from Cross Street. How did she know Miss Fog Lady?
Swan? I suppose you mean Miss Caroline Bartley. We're hoping she'll be our lifesaver.
Mr. Fogg appears behind them, looking rather pale.
Lifesaver?
Exactly so.
There's a curious spark behind Mr. Fogg's eyes. He looks straight ahead as he speaks.
See, my hat friend. We civil servants can actually accomplish a thing or two. We found Miss Bartley, a shining star of Uluru, a talented competitor, and above all, she's an insider. She arrived in London days ago, looking for our Fog Lady. She claimed to be an old acquaintance. Some luck, isn't it? If she can figure out the connection between her, the Black Fog, and this fiery TB... Oh, speaking of which, that Miss Willow truly has a special name.
Heh. What are you laughing at? How long have you been up, mate?
A thought crosses Brimley's mind. His partner's probably hardly slept all week. A burst of glorious vigor illuminates the fogwalker's face, like sunlight breaking through a gap in its gray sky.
Sleep? Who needs to sleep at a time like this? I'm more than energetic. I'm a veritable locomotive. Better than ever.
Arthur, you need to get some shut-eye, mate.
Is that what you think? That I'll just go back home for a little rest now? Now of all times. Dead wrong, mate. We've got rounds to make at the London Emergency Relief Centre for special tuberculosis patients. Come with me, my chapeau chap. We've got a city to save.
Mr. Fogg grabs the hobby horse and forcibly drags Brimley away with him.
Oh, all right. Miss Flutterpage, go find Miss Tooth Fairy, would you? She said your arcane skill might be of some help.
The two of them quickly vanish into the streets.
My arcane skill? Help? How can I help a witch doctor? Maybe Miss Tooth Fairy will tell me. But where is she? So many people here. I can hardly tell them from one another. Oh, but she has got those golden fairies with her. Maybe I can see them. Like how Miss Willow taught me.
To control the wind, you need to learn to see it first. Can you see the wind, lass?
Only when it's blowing something around, like dust or old paper. But I ain't got nothing like that with me now. I used all of it when Freddy tried to catch me. Is there anything else I can use?
She scans the pale yellow smog, the flooding Uluru flags informing her of the wind's direction.
Oh, I see it.
The wind picks up, and the flags, along with people's clothes, start to flutter in the same direction.
What with this wind, eh? Where's it coming from? Oi, me hat! Please, is there any good Samaritan who can spare a blanket? Oh, God bless you.
Smog dissipates in the wind. For a brief moment, the air is noticeably cleaner in the small corner of the world. One of the beds, a golden fairy is being held by its wings and placed into a patient's mouth.
Miss Tooth Fairy!
Flutterpage, there you are.
He swiftly closes the patient's mouth, making him swallow her bizarre medicine before walking briskly to footage.
What's wrong?
We've got to find a way to clear up the sky.
About how long is this? 19. About 19. Black Swan, a self-portrait, reflective depiction of oneself. The oak door slowly creaks open. Inside air meeting the outside and stirring up a faint mist. Struggles her way through the garden, embrace her in her arms.
It's been near a week.
Every step, her right leg gives it out a painful creak. He looks at the half-open window. Week has been a number of uninvited guests. Not one of them was the one she was hoping to see. Curious little thing who flutters back and forth like a sparrow.
This is how the world works. I should have known. I'm always too naive.
She carries out her usual task of clearing the garden. First, she gathers dry twigs and leaves to use as kindling. Then, she strikes a match, throws it in the brazier, and waits for the fire to grow. As the fire intensifies, she gathers the trash from around the garden, most of which is flung into her garden by her neighbors, adds to the fire.
A dead mouse. Classic. Sure to disgust me.
Willow picks up the decaying mouse carcass and tosses it into the flames. Fire flaring up so fiercely it nearly scorches her eyebrows. The early years, she would often watch from the window, her dark eyes fixated on people who pass by.
And rotten apples and eggs from that boring old codger. I suppose he's down to his last teeth now. Soon enough, the only thing he'll be eating is porridge. Bit of comfort in knowing he hates porridge.
Even now, the old mansion's doors and windows remain firmly shut. The owner's face hasn't been seen for many years. All the neighbors know that a fearsome witch lives there.
Hands burnt by steam. It's a curse. Bumping into ghosts during the Samhain. Curse. Lost everything betting on the ponies. Each and every misfortune must surely be Willow's curse.
He picks out some garlic from the garbage bin. This simple seasoning can be repurposed as seeds or fertilizer.
Superstitious fools.
The only items that cannot be utilized are the wooden carving with bizarre symbols on them, rumored to possess the power to ward off the
shysters.
Demon banishing water is the most clumsy and silly item, but also the most manageable to deal with. Willow simply lets it be, treating the water poured into her garden as free irrigation.
Brats.
Salt. This is the worst offender. Dehydrates them, often killing them outright. She digs out the tainted soil, ready to wash later.
Oh. Well, now these are new, aren't they? Blood-stained rags. Wonderful. Sooner or later, they'll all cough their lungs out.
Stiffness in her right leg is unbearable. Moments later, Willow's leg gives away. She collapses to a patch of potato flowers. Soft, boggy soil. A limp, decomposing body.
No!
He smacks her prosthesis on the knee, as if the blow will set the joint back in its rightful place. She grabs the dirt as she fights to get to her feet, struggling. The struggle she's long grown used to. Lured by the sound of her strikes, carbuncles slowly make their way toward her.
Away with you!
Critters scatter, ducking behind leaves and watching quietly from a distance. She clutches a vine with one hand. But it only throws her off balance. She falls to the ground once again.
Horrible.
He's more proficient in the art of balance than almost anyone. But she also finds it more difficult than anyone to adjust to even the smallest imperfection.
No. I don't need to cast my arcane skills. Stand up. Stand up. You loser, you. I need machine lubricant. I suppose I need to buy some.
This time, she makes it to her feet.
I can do this. I will do this. All by myself.
Her steps grow clearer, more steady. She grips the delicate metalwork of her gait.
Nothing to it. Let's go.
Her leg clacking like a slow, mournful melody. She steps into the smoggy, somber streets of London. There's a makeshift sign on the door.
Shop closed due to illness, while the owner has gone to Miss Tooth Fairy for treatment. Please leave your name, order, and address on the list below, and we will deliver it to your home as soon as the owner recovers.
She picks up the pen, then sits down again without writing a single word.
Tooth Fairy. All right. Then I can find the owner if I go to this Tooth Fairy. Is she some kind of doctor, then? Not that she could treat what ails me anyway, eh? What other shops might sell canary saliva and lanolin snail's slime?
She wraps her cloak tighter around her body in an attempt to fend off the cold, damp air.
All this time I could have done this, if only I hadn't relied on others for so long. There must be another store for arcane supplies. But I think I need to lie down.
Cold hues of the night still linger in the morning mist. With them, the cannot speak. The Thames has never looked so quiet. Across the river, earth red flags flutter like burning balls of fire. Battering of white emergency medical tents are scattered below them. A trampled Ulu wildflowers flyer floats down to her feet, brushing against her ankle.
Sports fanatics, black fog, strange tuberculosis. All these things have nothing to do with me. All I need are my ingredients, nothing more. I ought to just order what I need as a home delivery. Ask them to leave the package at the entrance of the garden once a week. As for the fees, I'll just have to sell all me old medals. That'll be enough to support me until I become a proper hag. Then I can never leave my house till the day I die. There's something dark rising up from the water. It's nothing special. A bit of old rope. Or an old boot. Why can't it be a swan? A black swan? Here? Really? That's why you ought to go out more often. Else you'll miss these precious moments. A chance to see something special, like a black swan. Look at it. Some creatures are born with these smooth, pitch-black feathers. But it's only under the sunlight that you can see their iridescent shine. That's when all the other animals can only look on and feel themselves inferior. They can never stand out from the crowd in the same way. Your silence is an answer. I know it. Just as I know every time you lash out and curse, you're cursing your own failure. Walk closer, Charlotte. Why don't we take a better look at it? Look at its gracefully long neck, those magnificent wings, and how it glides across the water. All swans are beautiful, but only the black feathers make it truly stand out. It brings back some memories, don't it? The feeling of being one with the swans and the flow of each step of our dance. We were so close to perfection. All we needed was for you to spread your wings and fly. Fly to Paris, Cairo, Istanbul, and eventually to the Uluru Rock. Then it comes to me, and I can hold it in my arms, lift it above my head. This perfect, shining golden medal, standing on the Uluru Rock.
Miss Willow, but what are you doing out here? You've got to move. Black fog is coming straight for you.
Ignore the noise. Eyes on the swan. It's only a tacky, white swan, covered in soot. How ridiculous it looks now, wearing that false disguise. The poor thing, it must have been covered accidentally.
Miss Willow, why are you looking at that swan? It's dead.
Of course it's dead and gone. That's right. What kind of swan would want to be with something so ugly and stained? Of course it's ended up alone. Died alone. What else were you expecting? You didn't really believe that spread your wings and fly bollocks, did you?
you hear me, Miss Willow?
You ought to thank the black fog for lifting your illusion. Now you can see it rightly. You're not some special black swan that was born to greatness. You're nothing but.
Miss Willow, you... What's wrong with your leg?
But a cripple.
Come back for the paint.
Willow lowers her head to the flutter pages standing at her feet. The fairy stands a few steps away, calling out to her. Flutter page gently touches the prosthetic leg, revealing the secret she's too proud to admit the last 10 years.
Why? Why didn't you tell me about your...
You're much stronger than I thought, Miss Willow, if you allow me to address you as such.
Leave me be. I'm going home.
I'll walk you home. I got you. Miss Tooth Fairy and I was just chasing after the black fog, but I can walk you home first.
I just want to go home.
Willow uses all her might to turn, but can't do it with any grace. Her stiff right leg continues to impede her.
I'll go with you.
Stretches out her hand and pulls at Willow's clothes. A clumsy attempt to stop her friend from leaving.
Flutter page.
Willow swats her hand away.
Huh?
Stop following me!
Miss Willow!
I just want to go home!
I...
Flutter page remains in place, her eyes suddenly filled with tears. The fairy steps forward and pulls her into a hug.
I don't want you to follow me.
They look on as Willow shakily walks into the smog, each step grinding away a little more of her dignity. Probably be the last one I do today before gambling. Brunch. This gap. Fill it up with tangible things. Like warm hugs and
The floor ritual is one of the most popular events of the Uluru Games. It has a bewitching style that generates a resonance between the dancer and audience. Charlotte was a genius. She was born for it. And God has sent her a coach covered in dark feathers and skilled in ancient Celtic runes. Coach Raven taught her the primal witch dance that ignited a fire within her. At least, until that tragedy 10 years ago, which took her leg. Coach Raven had given her a pocket of flower seeds as a reward for all her diligent practicing. It said they were from the druids in the forests of Glastonbury. I guess she planted them around her house and got this garden. Now all these bizarre plants share the same strange air with their owner.
the plants in the mansion's garden all drooping toward the ground. the new sense of wariness that wasn't present during Tooth Fairy's last visit. The woman by the door gently shakes her head as Flutterby crawls around on her knees, searching for bugs among the foliage.
Thank you again for having me over. That's all I have to say about Charlotte.
Flutterby's head pops out from behind the plant, from between the plant.
What's a druid? Is it a place? Do they have canaries and snails there?
A druid isn't a place. It's a title. An identity.
Identity? Oh, like a name. Just like Flutterpage, right?
She quickly falls back into her own musing.
Thank you for your cooperation, Miss Bartley. I'm sorry to be taking you away from your practice.
Yes, you should be. I don't much enjoy being bothered by stuffed-up bureaucrats.
The accompanied floor vigilist has never been one to hold back her words.
But if you ask me...
Caroline glances once more at the narrow window of the old Victorian tightly shut.
I will tell you that it isn't Charlotte that's summoning the black fog. I stand by that. I swear it on all my honor as an Uluru competitor. We're witches, but not in the traditional sense. We practice witchcraft to win medals instead of summoning devils.
We trust you at your word. It seems like that concludes our investigation into this fog hag. Thanks again, Miss Bartley.
Miss Tooth Fairy, if you do want to thank me, mind doing me a favor?
Tooth Fairy nods. Caroline seems unusual hesitation. She deliberates over her choice of words. At the end, she yields.
Please do something. Anything to bring her out of this hole she's dug for herself. Whatever you do, break down her door, drag her out by her hair, even blow up that old mansion. Just don't let her hide in her stupid house. She'll let you inside now. There's no longer any power preventing you. I can sense it.
You know this place well. Have you visited her here before?
Caroline bites her lip, holding back the words on the tip of her tongue. Then she walks away.
I think Miss Bartley wants to come in with us.
Maybe so, but she's made her choice. She doesn't want to join us inside.
The fairy shakes her jar in her hands, not containing her usual tooth fairies, but filled with a collection of land and snails.
Let's go, Flutterpage. We still have work to do.
Whatever you say, Miss Witch Doctor.
Two of them step cautiously into the garden, soil compacting under their feet. Nothing left to obstruct their path. They step around a few threatening-looking plants as they take the winding road into the creaky door. Tooth Fairy goes to knock, but the door swings open a moment. Your knuckle hits its surface.
The door isn't locked. Let's get inside.
Willow sits at the table prepared for one, surrounded by an exorbitant amount of half-finished food. Aside from the full English she's currently talking to, Scotch egg, caffeine cotton chips, steaming apple crumble.
Sorry to interrupt.
Willow casts aside basic manners, neglecting to invite her guests to sit, and cuts herself another piece of sausage.
Diets high in sugar and fatty oils may well lead to stomach illness, Miss O'Hagan.
Continues to eat her lavish brunch.
I choose the name Tooth Fairy instead of my real name, Campbell. But did you choose to let people call you Willow? Or Do you prefer the name Charlotte O'Hagan? That is the name of an excellent Uluru floor ritualist.
The crash of silverware interrupts her once more. Willow sweeps her arm across the table. Silver dishes clatter loudly as they fly to the floor.
Tooth fairy. Some kind of doctor, right? I think your prescription is a little fuzzy. I'm no athlete. I've only got one leg. This Charlotte has nothing to do with Willow. Just like I've nothing to do with the Uluru Games.
So far as I know, the Uluru Games do not exclude people with disabilities from full participation.
To be sure, but only if you enjoy parading yourself around for embarrassment. I think I'll pass, thanks.
No one should feel embarrassed by competing, least of all the competitors challenging themselves. That is the point of the Uluru spirit.
Willow rises with great efforts, furiously stamping the floor with her prosthetics. The process.
Excuse me? I don't remember having asked you for a running commentary.
I'm sure you already know the answer in your heart. You have wisdom and experience.
Who even invited you here? It's time you leave.
I'm here representing our mutual friend, Flutterpage.
The mention of this name, Willow pauses and takes a step back.
What for?
I understand that usually the only one welcome inside is Flutterpage, but I'm here to apologize on her behalf.
Apologize?
He places a small jar of snails on the table.
What's this?
An apology gift. She ran off a little before sunrise to collect these for you. She collects these arcane creatures you use to make the lubricant for your prosthesis, right? But she's afraid that you'll get angry at her again, so she asked me to give it to you.
Oh, I see. Now I'm the hateful, angry, wicked witch.
No, you're not. The things that these people say about you, they aren't true. As I mentioned, Flutterpage wanted to apologize because, quote, she didn't want to break your heart. Miss Bartley has told her many things about you. She never knew you're such an outstanding competitor.
Caroline?
The fairy slowly pushes the jar of snails closer to her.
So, will you accept her gift?
Willow delicately places her fingertips in the jar, neither pushing it away nor taking it.
Ugh, nosy little brat. Where is she now? In the temporary hospital?
You want to see her?
The witch's features twist like a knot.
Don't push me!
He pulls the snail jar closer to her.
All right, it's my own fault. I shouldn't have treated her that way. That what you wanted to hear, is it? Fine then. You'll have what you want. Just take me to her.
She's waiting by the door.
What?
Flutterpage cautiously peeks out from the edge of the doorframe. Her wide eyes scanning the room for any sign of danger.
Miss Willow.
At this point, there is no turning back.
Fine. Come on in then.
Unable to deal with her emotions, tears well up in Flutterpage's eyes once again.
Stop your crying. Listen, I shouldn't have treated you so wickedly the last time. And the time before that.
The fairy gives a silent nod.
Now would you stop that crying? At least not here in my...
Without a moment's hesitation, Flutterpage charges toward her. Willow's hands open and close like a spider raising its front legs in fear. She's not sure whether she can catch this chaotic bundle of rags.
Oi.
She manages to catch her, only being knocked back to the floor.
I'm sorry. I'm really very sorry. I swear I won't break into your house no more. I'll only come in when you let me. I'll do anything you ask. Say anything you need me to say, miss.
She unconsciously looks to the fairy, only to see that her full intention is directed at the Uluru floor ritual painting on the wall. Willow gently taps the back of Flutterpage's neck through several layers of old clothing.
So, could I still come around again sometime?
Willow presses her hand to the girl's mouth, stifling her sobs.
Stop your crying first, lass.
Okay, I'll stop crying.
With a soft push, Flutterpage drifts into the air like a sheet caught in the wind. Even the removal of Flutterpage's weight, Willow is left on the floor, unable to get up.
Can I help you?
Flutterpage moves closer, reaching out both hands in line with Willow's. Takes the offered hand and rises steadily, a sudden gust of wind helping her find her balance.
Enough. Enough. I've had too much of this for one day. Would you mind if I politely asked you to leave? You do have a black fog to chase after all, don't you? Just so you know, it truly has nothing to do with me.
Miss O'Hagan.
Call me Willow, child. What else do you want to say?
Would you let the food stay in your tummy for a bit longer? Eat a little more. I don't want you to be so skinny.
Willow tries Flutterpage's arms around her waist, gently pushing her back.
All right, now leave me be, please.
The fairy takes Flutterpage's hand. They leave the room. The old house sings back in silence. There's no sound save for the heavy ticking of the grandfather clock.
She's seen too much of this embarrassing side of me.
Now, time for gambling. I have 50 pulls, so hopefully. That was fast. Never stop gambling. Never stop gambling. Never punished.
$4,927.60. Congratulations.
This place is quite...
Everything in the world is born of laws and regulations.
Hi, I'm here.
Hello,
Congratulations.
You won. It is now guaranteed that the orphans will be safe. The one.
Hi, I am Sotheby. As you can see, I'm an excellent and knowledgeable lady.
Not B1. Still guaranteed though. Easy video game.
So you all live in a suitcase, eh? Of course, I understand that the Foundation has more urgent needs than finding a proper place to house their employees.
Is good enough for Poison Team. I believe so. I haven't read the actual buff that she's got. Question is, did I lose the 50-50 before or after? Not up yet. So, since this is a discount, I might as well just do this. Get nothing there though. Gonna use.
Hey.
She's.
Enough sniffing about me like a mole. I haven't any tea or cake for guests.
Easy video game. Oh, welcome back to Strain Kinetic. Going the video update.
Like a unbreakable.
It was only 8 chapters.
That was a flight.
That I missed?
You've no need to waste these trifles on me.
Like a solid 8
But still-
chapters of the story.
Thanks.
Eight chapters. Well, 7. Not quite. Not quite 8. Crying and people not dying. I mean, they could be dying. By kind of having tuberculosis. Not exactly something for being non-deadly. Seven chapters.
You brought me a gentle breeze on the field.
Miss Debbie.
Welcome to Typhon's movie party!
Where?
Welcome to Typhon's movie party!
7 chapters.
Привет,
Trying to
мисс
hunt
Вертон.
down the source of the black smog that's causing giving people tuberculosis. Trying to
Enough sniffing about me
also
like a
make
mole.
Willow not
I
a
haven't any
shut-in,
tea or cake for guests.
as she is missing a leg.
Everyone has their own duty. Her, the people of Vienna, you, and me. I must get back on my feet and move on.
Instead,
This
randomly.
is the only path for me after the catastrophe.
Not plenty of extra. I can just do another temple. Or 2. Or 1. I feel about the sky explode. Oh, yes. Gotta up the stakes. I'm definitely more into the start of this chapter, or this story, than I was with chapter 8. I can't gamble anymore. Broke. Unless... I already got Willow. There's no need for me to spend money yet. Will this show up yet? Okay, I lost the 50-50 after, so my next is guaranteed. I will save that for next time I rolls for someone. I'll steal all the windows. Good luck. I already have spent money on this game. And I do quite literally have a $15 skin, so... But it is time for me to end stream. And to do this probably Monday or Tuesday. Which these side stories are usually shorter, so probably only like 1 or 2 more streams for it. Even though I was here for like 4 minutes. Still time. But thank you all for watching. Oh yeah, so